All right, dear future me, I am ready to cook today. I have a long ass script. Buckle in. This is probably going to be a long video. So, yes, here we go. Very excited for this one. I think there's going to be a lot of good structure to this one. So I'll break it down into three main parts. So the first part is observations about my mental state and motivations. Part two is good habits that I've been continuing, or good habits that I've been doing that I should continue. And third section is lessons that I've learned recently. So, yeah, side note, very funny, but this almost feels like a retrospective on myself. Like at work, we do sprint retrospectives, which is kind of funny. This is like so many things that happen at work are just transferring to my real life or my own personal life, which is crazy. But anyway, it's just a funny thought. I think I even wrote that down, but I might skip over that when I get to it. Okay, perfect. So, point number one. Sorry, real quick, just had to appreciate this shirt. It's a power. Anyways, all right. Okay, first point here. So, I've noticed there are these different kind of transient phases of thinking that I've been going through. And okay, it sounds like silly, but like what I mean by that is like there are these like patterns, these patterns that I've recognized in my brain that where I've kind of gone through these transient mindsets. They're patterns, I guess. And they can come and go super quick. They're not, sometimes they stick around for like a long time. Sometimes they, pass in a day or whatever. But I want to kind of document these and recognize these patterns. And sorry, I'm reading from a script. There's a lot of info here today, so I might be looking up to the screen a lot. So you might not get too much direct eye contact. Sorry about that. And I'm going to try something where I'm probably going to read the line in its entirety, and then I'll kind of talk to it. Talk to a oh, fuck, I hate myself. Such a dumb joke. But actually this one's on the off the cuff. But a funny observation I just made is like, this is like low-key preparing me to be a better public speaker as well. Or like when I present things at work, because it's like I have source material to read from. Like these are my quote unquote like slides or my slide deck, and then I'm kind of just embellishing details on top of it. So yeah, this is crazy, man. There's so much overlap with work and my private life. But anyways, okay. So getting started here. This is the first transient phase that I've kind of noticed myself. God, I hate that talk to a joke, bro. I'm still thinking about the fucking talk to a, goddamn. Anyways, this is the first transient phase that my brain goes through. So the obtaining new information phase. And this phase is categorized by watching productivity videos and listening to audiobooks. And I think specifically these transient phases are a little bit different than something I'm going to talk about in a future bullet point. I think in my mind right now, when I wrote this one down, this was specifically about when I'm taking a shower. Because I think in my life, I've kind of put in these sort of, I guess the best way to say it is like I put in these like habits or structure, some sort of structure, or I've built these habits of like during this time I do this thing. So I don't have to think about it, right? I don't have to consciously decide like what I want to do. But there are certain areas where I still allow myself the flexibility to like choose how I'm feeling and decide based off of that. And for this specific one, when I talk about obtaining information phase, this is kind of like when I take a shower, what kind of media do I want to consume? And so, for example, tonight, my media of choice was one of my own videos. And so I know it sounds a little egotistical or arrogant or whatever, but like genuinely, that's like super helpful to me. That's why part of a big reason why I'm making this channel is to help myself, right? And I want to basically like reaffirm these patterns that I've witnessed before so that I don't have to like relearn them. It's like I'm just telling myself them so I don't have to think too hard about it. But anyways, so the obtaining new information phase. So this entails basically watching like productivity videos. And I say I put in this structure, but even within the structure, there's a little bit of flexibility and freedom. I think it's important to have the structure, dude, but I think at the end of the day, having the capacity to make your choice also matters a lot. And it's a lot of overlapping themes here from everything I'm talking about. But I think the autonomy aspect of it's very, very important. Despite having the structure and despite having the pattern or a routine or a habit built in place, I think allowing some flexibility is still very important for your like happiness and friction and energy to do things. Okay, so that's the first point. Sorry, I don't think I finished explaining. I kind of went on a bunch of tangents, but the obtaining new information phase, I was not in that phase tonight. I was more in like okay, I need to like reprocess everything that I've learned in the past few weeks of just living life, because I feel like I've had so much input, raw material going into my brain of like different experiences and like, doing different things that I feel like I didn't have capacity to like take on more new information. And that's exactly why I like to back up what I just said a few moments ago about it's important to have freedom and flexibility and to build your life in structure, but also giving yourself flexibility for moments like this. Exactly. Like your life is dynamic. Your life is sporadic. There's all these different things that come up. And so if you don't, I said this in the last video, I'm repeating myself, but it's so true, dude. Like if you don't build your life in such a way that you can succeed, whether things are crazy or whether conditions are crazy or conditions are perfect, like I'm not saying you won't ever succeed, but like that's something that I've started to intentionally incorporate into my life. I'm starting to build my life in a way where even if the circumstances are terrible, I can make it work and I can still work towards my goals and I can still, be successful in what I want to do. And so, yeah, allowing that flexibility, but also keeping the structure has been critical to me. So super, super happy that I've stumbled upon that. Gosh, I'm only on the first bullet anyways. So yeah, that was one of the phases, obtaining new information phase. The other phase that I've recognized is the focused execution phase. So I guess that's kind of the phase I'm in right now in this moment as I read through this description. So it says not trying to take in new information. This is when the videos to myself have been super helpful. Yeah, exactly. And funny enough, I wrote this script feeling inspired actually after watching one of my own videos because it's crazy, dude. Like, all of these thoughts that we have every day are fleeting. And sometimes it sounds silly, but like sometimes you genuinely forget thoughts you've had. And like rewatching these videos where I've kind of like been very analytical and thoughtful about it is so beneficial to me because I resonate with it and it gets me excited. It's like, wow, like, yeah, I forgot I had that thought, but it makes so much sense. And it helps me like, I don't know, dude, it's weird. Like it really helps me a lot. I don't know if other people like do this or maybe they get it through I don't know, maybe nobody thinks about it this thoroughly as I do, but I gotta say like my life has improved so much by putting all this thought and being so thorough into it. Like maybe this is what journaling is, I guess. Like some people do journaling, this is my form of journaling maybe, but anyways, this is the focused execution phase. So I've been in that phase for, I want to say about a month now, probably. Well, actually, I take it back. I'm not, like I said, these are very transient mental shifts and states, but I think the key is when you're feeling it to kind of categorize that feeling or mindset. And I'm not saying like I'm putting myself in a bucket or I'm forcing myself into it. I think it's just helpful to recognize the state you're in because if you start acting like erratically or you start getting frustrated or something, you can have some insight into your mental state and you're not like beating yourself up about it, right? I think that's so important to everything in life, dude. Is just understanding how you're feeling is so, so important because it's like your conscious mind may be thinking one thing, but your subconscious mind is thinking something else. And so I feel like by having these different frameworks or these different patterns that I can recognize in myself, I won't like be cruel to myself. For example, right? Perfect example, actually. Let's say my goal is to learn Japanese, which it obviously is. I'm still learning it. I'm not going to beat myself up if I am, not listening to a Japanese learning podcast while I take a shower, right? Because I'm like, okay, I'm in my like focused execution phase right now. I can't take in more information, right? I literally can't, like so much else is going on. My brain doesn't have the brain power to like take it in. So it's like, by having these patterns and by being intentional about it, you're not going to beat yourself up because you already know like, okay, given the conditions, you're not ready to take this on. So it's like, you're avoiding miscommunication, or you're avoiding like beating yourself up because you understand what mental state you're in, you know? And this is like this full circle, dude. This is like the very, very first video that I made on this channel, was talking about reflecting on how I got here. In that video, I talked about, oh man, I was like, you know, mindlessly scrolling all of a sudden out of nowhere, and I was feeling really crappy. And I realized, and I was beating myself up for feeling crappy, which then led me to do bad things, like mindless, like non-productive things, and I was beating myself up. But then the moment I realized why, I forgave myself and I just let it go right away. The reason why was because I had eaten carbs, which I had not done, and I knew it had some chemical reaction in my gut or whatever, and I just have these weird things or whatever. But again, the key here is recognizing the patterns, so that when you go through these different things, it's like you already have vision of, you already have like foresight into like what's happening, and you're understanding what's happening, and so that prevents the miscommunication. But anyways, gosh, yeah, this is gonna be a really long video. I'm only I'm only 3 bullet points down, and it's already been 10 minutes. So let's keep it moving. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Last one, the socializing phase. And this one, I think, and again, actually, I should probably clarify this. These different phases are not like, they're not like phases in the sense that, oh, I have to be in this state of mind for like a certain period of time. These are literally like mental operating mindsets, or mental operating thoughts that I have through, it could be throughout the day. Like I could have all 3 different mental phases within the same day, or I could stick on one for all day or whatever. You know, it's very dynamic, but I think I just want to clarify that, because I'm saying these things out, and it sounds like some of these may contradict each other, but it's literally like these are passing thoughts or passing mindsets. Like literally I can feel social in one moment, and then an hour later I'm like, nah, I just need to focus and I can't take in any more new information or whatever. So anyways, just had to clarify that. So this next phase I mentioned, socializing phase, I think I've kind of broken that down into 2 main categories for me personally. So one has been obviously going out and hanging out with friends in person, you know, go grab a bite to eat or see a movie or go shopping or whatever. So that's one, like the face-to-face. The second one that I lean on pretty heavily is going on Hello Talk, which is like a language learning app. I've been practicing Japanese on there, and going into voice rooms, which is basically like, you know, a public room. You can join it and listen in on people and practice speaking languages with native speakers or whatever. So those have been my 2 go-to socializing phase like options when I'm in the socializing phase mindset. And I think, you know, based on one of my previous videos talking about being ready for dating, I think I'll start incorporating dating as another branch or another like arm in that phase, you know, like when I'm in that socializing mindset, what are my 3 options? You know, it's going to be hitting up a friend to go out, getting dinner, whatever, socializing on Hello Talk, or, you know, like setting up a date or something, or like swiping on apps or whatever. But anyways, yeah, so I think those are my operating phases. Let's see what the next bullet point says. Okay. I don't know if this is so much, I don't know if I did a great job organizing this one, but I'll read it out and I'll kind of talk over it. So I wrote down here, I think in the background, what's afforded me to slip so easily between these mindsets is having a near-term goal. Okay. In this case, it's been my upcoming Japan trip. I know it's coming and I need to plan for it. That's the main mission. Then I have all of these side quests in life. If I don't have a main mission, I should create one, and that's how the 12-week year comes into play. Okay, I think I was being really concise with that point, but I think it was painting a little bit of color around these different mindsets that I just described, these 3 operating patterns. I think these are things that are like side quests to me. And I think what I meant by that point is kind of emphasizing the fact that it's critical for me to have some sort of near-term goal. And in this particular case, my near-term goal is like planning for my Japan trip coming up. I'm going to Japan for 2 weeks just for vacation. It'll be a great time. But I think having those kinds of like things to look forward to, or like things in my mind that I'm like, okay, this big event or whatever is going to happen, it kind of eases off the existential pressure or dread or whatever of feeling like, oh my God, what's the next step? What's the next step for me? And feeling aimless. I think I just kind of know in the back of my mind that that's happening. So I don't feel pressured, and I'm able to slip into these different like focused execution phase, obtaining new information phase, socializing phase. I'm able to, you know what I mean? I'm able to like pivot between these different mindsets so fluidly without the interruption of like feeling existential, like, oh my God, what do I need to do next? So maybe that's just another phase in itself, like the planning phase, like planning my next 3 months. Jumping, kind of recalling another previous video I made about the 12-week year. I think splitting my life into 3-month segments has been amazing, super helpful for me, and I'll continue doing that. And I think just kind of that point that I just made was just kind of reassurance that I should continue doing that, because it feels like having that main goal or those few main goals within the 3 months will, again, like ease that existential part of my brain to not worry about that. It's like, okay, that's taken care of. Now you can just worry about living life. And then, these other little side quests, transient mindsets come in. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. This one is an observation that's very, very critical and helpful. And I think I sort of called it out earlier a little bit already, but I'll talk through it in depth here. So I'll read out all of the things. So I said here, having content to watch/listen to for certain situations has been very helpful. My media diet is very important. That's actually a really, really good point that I don't think many people really talk about. Your media diet is so, so incredibly important, because I think about all the productivity stuff I've learned, all the self-improvement stuff, all the healthy habits I've learned or accumulated over the years is because of the information I'm watching online. And I don't want to take this as an opportunity to like shame people or like make people feel bad about what they watch, but I think if you're constantly watching things that like make you feel sad or that make you feel like the world is ending, I genuinely don't think that does you any good. Like, I think there's so many things that are just out of your control. Like, even if things are terrible in the world, it's like you can't solve everything. So like, why fill your head with all these terrible things? And I kind of take it, I don't know if I mentioned this in another video, I almost kind of see it as like you have to put on your own air mask before you put on the person next to you. Like when you're in an airplane, right, in an emergency situation, they always say, like, if you're with your kid, always put your own air mask on, always put your own oxygen mask on before you put on your kids, because what good is it to help someone else if you're not even doing well yourself? And so I kind of see it the same way in this sense. Like, anyways, I'm going off on a tangent there, but the key idea or takeaway I wanted to mention there was your content you watch on a regular basis is very important, whether you think about it or not. And I just want to run through my examples of things that I've been watching recently. Maybe this is kind of a record for myself to remember things that have been helpful. So, okay, kind of in a weird order, but when I'm cooking a recipe that I know very well, my go-to media has been audiobooks. So whatever I'm feeling that day. And so here's another example of that structure, but also giving myself flexibility, right? My structure is I cook a recipe that I'm very familiar with. I don't have to look at a recipe book or whatever. I can just freehand it. Like, that's when it's time for an audiobook. And in terms of what audiobook, that's my choice, whatever I'm feeling that day, whether it's dating, whether it's productivity, whether it's like a fun one, whatever it is. So yeah, structure with the flexibility built in, right? Okay, next one, when I'm cooking a new recipe, it's pretty straightforward. Just put on some music because I don't want to be distracted. I have to follow the recipe, make sure I don't fuck it up. Next one is driving to the office. My choice has been productivity podcasts. Pretty self-explanatory there. Eating lunch on a weekday. Okay, this is kind of specific now. This is a little more specific to me. So eating lunch on a weekday at home, productivity video like a podcast, or a video about buying an IKEA in Japan. So that's a very fun side quest that I don't want to talk up too much, but it is kind of low-key been a dream of mine recently to have a second home in Japan, just as a vacation home. It'd be super cool. One day if I work for myself, I can spend a couple months in Japan, a couple months in America. It'd be pretty sick. So in the back of my mind, I've been watching these IKEA buying videos on YouTube from this guy named Shu Matsuo Post. IKEA basically is an abandoned house in Japan. Like people literally just like leave the house uninhabited. Excuse me. And they will, fix it up, they'll renovate it and then sell them. Yeah. So for a decent price too. So yeah, that's been my weekday lunch. Oh, sorry. I want to list some examples too of the productivity podcasts that I like watching during lunch on weekdays at home. Diary of a CEO, Ali Abdaal videos, or Chris Williamson. I think those guys have consistently had really good guests on their podcast. And, there'll be other ones that I kind of fly in and out, like Dr. K or like Huberman Lab or whatever. But those are, I don't know. I feel like the three that I just listed are my main bread and butter productivity podcasts. Okay, going on to, this I will kind of explain because it will make a little more sense if I say it this way. I split up my life sort of let me say this differently. I split up my diet and my kind of both food diet and content diet sort of. I portion that out from like Monday to Thursday and Friday to Sunday. So like weekdays versus weekends, air quotes. So for my weekday dinners, Monday through Thursday, my weekday dinner podcast that I like to watch is Iced Coffee Hour. And again, that fluctuates too. Sometimes it's like Josh Weissman or like some other thing. But the reason I really like the Iced Coffee Hour is because it's a fun watch, it's entertainment, but I always take something away from it, or I always, feel inspired, And I think that's, again, a testament to their variety of guests that they've had. So like the whole Josh Weissman like inspiration about cooking thing came from that podcast. Or it's like business stuff will come from that podcast. I discovered Alex Hormozy through them. So that podcast has been so helpful to me because it's both entertainment, but it's also enjoyable. And I think the Casey Neistat one too. But anyways, yeah. So I think that's been a great option for me because it'll sometimes lead me to be inspired for random parts of my life I didn't even think about. So anyways, so that's been my Monday through Thursday. For dinner, when I eat at home, it's been Iced Coffee Hour. That's been the podcast of choice. And then when it comes to the weekend, so Friday through Sunday, pure entertainment. Whatever, free time. It's like I'm a kid again. Free time, you can do whatever you want. But for me, shows or movies I've been wanting to watch or see. Or if I'm feeling a little quote unquote productive, I can watch like a Japanese show and I can learn or practice listening to Japanese while also being entertained. So, and then whether or not I feel like challenging myself to like turn on Japanese subtitles or English subtitles, it's up to me. See, again, the structure with flexibility, that's the key right there. Structure, but then allowing myself the autonomy to choose based on how I'm feeling that day to reduce friction. Super awesome. So yeah. And then this is just kind of a tidbit bonus point I want to throw in there. I've been enforcing this restriction on myself that I'm not allowed to watch TikTok until after 5 p.m. On work days, right? That is so key because I've done this before. If I watch TikTok before I work, dude, I just feel so unmotivated. And it's like, I don't know. I don't want to go too deep into the explanation, but I'll kind of like cliff notes it for you. I heard somewhere, I don't even remember where, basically your brain is just flooded with dopamine, so then everything else in comparison just feels boring as fuck. So, I think that's been a super helpful restriction on myself. TikTok only after 5 p.m. on weekdays, on work days. So yeah, it's been serving me really well. Okay. Now... Okay, I just had a thought. You know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going off script for a second because I feel like this is a very... everything that I've said in the past few videos, I feel like have sort of embodied this in such a way where I think it was Oliver Burkeman in Meditations for Mortals. I think that's where I heard it from. And I need to make a video on that book as well and talk about my learnings. Shit, did I already make one about it? I don't think I did. But anyways, one key learning that stuck with me a lot was he says, like, I don't do advice that... Or wait. Oh, yeah. He said, like, I don't have thoughts that are objectively correct. I have thoughts that serve me. Or, like, I subscribe to thoughts that serve me. Even though they may not make sense, if they serve me, I'm going to think that way. That's how I've been treating these things. That's how I've been feeling these. Fuck, I don't even remember why I fucking brought that up. But yeah, I'll get to it when I make a video about Meditations for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman. But anyways, fuck, sorry about that. I went on that tangent and then just forgot immediately. But anyways, okay, I'll stick to the script. Okay, so this next section is good habits I've been continuing. Okay, now the first one says, Okay. So this was actually an example from today, real world example from today. So this is what happened. So this morning, I thought about buying Mexican food for lunch, but then I thought to myself, how am I going to feel after eating that burrito I wanted? And it snapped me right out of it, and it convinced me to eat food that I've cooked at home, basically. That was a huge win for me because I think I used to be very like, I had my mindset that I wanted to like eat this unhealthy thing, or like I like fantasized about like, oh, I can't wait till Friday. I'm gonna go get this like giant like patty melt and chili cheese fries, and I'm gonna pig out or whatever. And I think like this mindset has been so, or this the fact that I was able to talk myself out of it like that was like, damn, dude, like good job. Like I'm proud of myself because I like, I think about it too. I think I was just super like ravenously hungry because last night I skipped dinner. sorry. It's not a bad thing. I don't have a eating disorder. I swear to God. I had a late lunch at like 5 p.m. or no, like 3 p.m. And then I watched a movie with my friends. And then we went to round one and played until like 1 a.m. or something. So we just had fun. We had a lot of fun. So I skipped dinner because I was just having too much fun. I wasn't thinking about food. But anyways, so I was like ravenously hungry this morning. And I was like, fuck, like I want a burrito. Like it sounds so good. And then I literally thought about it. I swear I wasn't trying to talk myself out of it either. I legit was about to like get in my car and go and buy the burrito. But then I thought about just a split second. I was like, how am I going to feel after eating that burrito? Because I've eaten burritos before from this place and they're delicious. But like, I don't know, man, just the sodium and just like in general, just like when you eat food outside, they load it with like whatever ingredients or whatever. And I thought to myself, man, I'm going to feel like shit afterwards. And so I just ate food that I had in my fridge or like freezer. I meal prep stuff. And so I just ate whatever's in there. But yeah, so super proud of myself. Good job, me. Good job, me. So proud of you. Which again is more evidence as to why I should continue cooking and why the investment is worth it, because of moments like this, when I'm in moments of desperation and I'm starving, I have healthy food in my freezer, or not healthy, but I have like home cooked food in my freezer rather than going out to eat. So although there's a big time investment, I think it's worth it at the end of the day. Okay, cool. Very cool. So that was the first good habit that I should continue doing. Good job, me. Second habit. This was another like pat myself in the back moment. So I was should I get into it right now? No, I don't want to get into it now because I have a point later on in my notes that talks about it. But anyways, I was watching TikTok and I thought to myself, what do you want to be doing right now? And I just closed TikTok. And then let's see what the next point says. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess the takeaway from this point is like being intentional about your time, like intentional wasted time or intentional leisure time, right? Because I say that because I asked myself in that moment as I was scrolling TikTok, I was like, what do I want to be doing right now? Like, do I want to be scrolling TikTok right now? And my answer was no, and so I closed it. But that's not to restrict myself from doing a leisurely activity, and I'm not forcing myself to do something quote unquote productive. And the evidence to support that was like soon after I closed TikTok there, I had the urge to play like Taiko no Tatsujin, so I just like loaded it up and started playing. So I'm like, cool, good job, me. And it was like, again, like positively reassuring my mental, it was like, I'm not restricting myself. I'm not telling myself I can't scroll TikTok. I'm asking myself, is this what you want to be doing with your time right now? And if it's not, close it. Don't do it out of habit, because like, and that just proved it to myself, because I was like, okay, well, I feel like playing Taiko no Tatsujin. I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm going to give myself the freedom to play, and I'm not going to restrict myself. I'm not going to be like, oh, you can only play half an hour or whatever. No, total autonomy, total freedom. Like, you want to do it, go do it. Just make sure whatever you're doing is what you actually want to do, and it's not because you're just doing it mindlessly. I think that's the key that I took away from that point. So proud of myself for doing that. So, yeah. Oh, another point tied to piggyback off of that. So I think getting like practicing this autonomy has really helped me too, because when I was playing Taiko no Tatsujin, I had a thought in my mind that I was like, okay, like, like I I'm allowing myself to play. I better be careful. I better like have I better be like cognizant of my time. Like I have other things I need to do still. And so, but it was like very like, it was very like, what's the word? Empowering, because I felt like I was in the driver's seat. You know, it wasn't like I was avoiding something, or it wasn't like I was running away from something and distracting myself by playing Taiko no Tatsujin. I was just like, no, this is what I want to do right now. I feel like I want to play, so I'm going to play. And in my mind, I was like, oh shit, like I'm in the driver's seat. Like my conscious mind is I don't have that sense of nagging. Like I think that's the thing. Like in the past, like I would nag myself and be like, don't forget, you got to do this, you got to do this chore, whatever. Like, Brandon, stop playing video games, you got to feel guilty. I think I've gotten rid of that voice partially. And so that's what I mean by like I was fully autonomous in this moment, where I was like, okay, I'm like not shouting at myself to go do these chores or tasks that are piling up. I'm just going to keep playing Taiko no Tatsujin. And by like acknowledging that I was in the driver's seat and that I was making the conscious choice to play, it made me stop at a reasonable time, because I was aware of what needed to be done. And I was like, oh shit, okay, yeah, if I don't like stop right now, I'm gonna like not have time to do these other things. But it's not even that. It's not even like, oh, I need to stop because I need to do these other things. It was really like, again, like when I am in the driver's seat and I'm making the choice, I'm deciding to play or when to stop, when to play or when to stop. So I think, yeah, that was just like a really eye-opening moment for me, or like not eye-opening, but like a good observation, a reminder to myself that like, yeah, I'm trusting myself, I'm trusting myself to make the decisions of what to do. So just know there's like no like quote unquote safety net anymore, because I got rid of that voice, that nagging voice in my head. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do what I feel. And when you do what you feel, you have to suffer the consequences if you fuck up or if you play too much, So I don't know, but it's good. It's good. I'm not convincing myself to like stop playing because I'm like telling myself, oh, you should be doing this. I'm convincing myself because I'm deciding, what do I want more in this moment? Do I want to play for another hour and suffer the consequences if I don't do this task that I've been putting off? Or do I want to stop playing now and go do this task? Like what will make me happier? And that is a really empowering feeling, to make a decision where you're fully in control. You're not reactive, you're proactive. I'm weighing out the pros and cons. If I play, and that's the thing, there is a world where I've played Taiko no Tatsujin for that extra hour. It's not like I'm perfect every time, but it's a different way of thinking. It's not about what the final result is. It's about how you came to that conclusion. That is the key. That is what Dr. K says so much. It's like the outcome is like what is the word he uses? He uses this very specific word that's like beautifully captures the meaning of it. He says it's I forget the word. But basically the key of what he's saying is like, when you see someone who's successful, you try to mimic the outcomes that they have, but you're not going to be successful, because that's the outcomes that they have are a byproduct of their way of thinking. The way that they motivate themselves, the way that they take action is what's causing them to have a side effect with a good outcome. If you're just mimicking the outcome without mimicking the thought process, you're not going to be the same as them. So anyways, I think this was the key learning for me in this case, was I think improved my way of thinking. And even, I could have gotten the same result if I just had that nagging voice in my head to tell me like, go do the task, stop playing right now, go do the task. That's one way to get the outcome you want. But the difference this time is I didn't use that cruel taskmaster shouting in my ear to tell me to do it. I was in the driver's seat and I made the conscious choice. Do I want to play for another hour and like neglect this thing I've been putting off? Or do I feel satisfied and I want to stop? And do I care more about this task that I need to do right now? And in this case, I chose the task that I need to do. And super fucking empowering, right? Because it just goes to show, like, again, building more evidence to myself that I can trust myself to like take care of my life and to do the right thing, right? And I don't know, maybe that's just a me thing, dude. I don't know if everybody else has that like concern or thought in their mind, but I think for the longest time, I've had this worry that I can't just let myself do whatever I want, because then I'm going to go out of line and then I'm going to go crazy and then my life's going to fall apart. But it's like the more and more I do this every day, I'm trusting myself that I can do the right thing without having to like be like this like overbearing helicopter parent in my own head, you know? Like I can just make the conscious choice and do the right thing. So anyways, I've been talking about that one for a long time. So that's what I took away from that. So really, really happy that I got there. So yeah. All right, let's see. I guess just final point on that one. I wrote down. I feel like living in this headspace has allowed me to be so intentional about how I spend my time. Yep. Can't agree more. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. This is a learning. I guess it's kind of a lesson more than anything. Maybe I'm jumping into lesson territory. So yeah, maybe I will just, let's say like this is the start of the lessons I've learned recently. I don't know where this falls, but anyway, I'll say it anyways. So I think one thing, as I was typing this whole list out, I think this was like a later addition that I just realized. But one thing, okay, I'll read it off first. One thing I should recognize and appreciate that has allowed me to live such a happy and intentional life is having work that is fulfilling, safe, and pays for my lifestyle. Okay, when I say fulfilling, I mean it gives me energy. When I do the work, I enjoy it. I feel like I'm making a difference. When I say safe, I'm speaking like, psychological safety, like my boss trusts me, I trust my teammates, like I feel treated well. And pays for my lifestyle. That one's pretty obvious. You need money to live. And so I think it's just important to take a step back, right? Because I feel like a lot of the good things in my life have stemmed from having a good job. Like, and that is, God, it's so crazy. I'm gonna take a little sidebar here, but like my parents, man, when I was growing up, they emphasized so much like you need a good job. You absolutely need a good job. And I just took their word for it, honestly. I didn't even really question it. I didn't even think for myself. I just took their word for it because they sold it to me like, if you graduate with a good degree, you get a good job, you are set for life. You're going to suffer for whatever, your first 20 whatever years, however long until you graduate. But once you get that job, your life is going to be smooth sailing. And I know that's not true for everybody. I definitely, totally 100% know that's not true for everybody. But I am so fucking grateful that it turned out that way for me because God, dude, like I just think about everything that has been going on in my life, like how I've been more independent, how I've been drawing all of these inspirations from things I do at work, like the quarterly planning, the sprint retros, like all this shit, and the, practicing public speaking for a slide deck. This is all influencing my life in my private life in a huge way. And so thank you God, thank you to the universe for giving me this job. I'm so appreciative of it, dude. And I'm so grateful. And it's times like this when I have thoughts like this that just remind me, like, when I can go the extra mile every once in a while. Even though I feel like I'm pretty content at my level in the corporate ladder, I'm not saying I'm complacent by any means. Like I've said before, I'm not complacent. But even though I feel like I'm happy with where I am and I don't need to like strive so hard to get to the next level, I still like don't want to be a slacker either, right? And there are times when like if I can go the extra mile and it'll help someone out, like I'll just do it. Because like I said, like paying it forward. I'm paying it forward to my teammates, but also to my future self. I'm building a better reputation, I'm making people trust me. It's just a beneficial thing to do. So I really hope that I keep that up. Like if you can, dude, if you can help somebody, if you can do a good deed, just do it, at work. Like it'll pay off somehow. If not, like it'll make you feel better inside. But again, don't let people take advantage of you though. Like that's definitely happened too. And I think I've learned my lesson a couple times. And I think I am practicing that, but I'm just, again, saying it for the record. Like there's some people who don't appreciate your help. And if that's the case, don't help them. They're not entitled to your help. Like you're trying to be a nice guy. If they don't appreciate it or reciprocate, then fuck them, anyways. Okay. So yeah, that was a big one. Just wanted to really highlight like, wow, I'm so grateful for my job. I love my job. Thank you so much to my job. And yeah, it's just kind of motivation too. Like I should really, like embrace this amazing situation I'm in with my work, to be able to build something that maybe one day can be a creative career in the future where I can work for myself. So anyways, thank you so much. Thank you to this job, to the universe. Really appreciate it. Okay, last section here. lessons I've learned recently. So there's a good amount here. I don't know how fast it'll be, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let me read the first point. I already kind of mentioned it, but this it's kind of a funny observation. This whole thing I've been doing today kind of feels like a sprint retro from work. Like at work, we have this sprint retro where it's like, you have kudos to the team, you have what's going well, you have what should be improved, you have action items, and you have what new things to try. This is basically like looking back at the past sprint, the past 2 weeks of work, and basically doing a retrospective, like seeing what went well, what could have been better, highlights along the way. It's just funny because, like I said just a moment ago, praising my job and how much it's helped my personal life. Just funny observation I made. This feels like a retro almost, but yeah. Anyways, just a cool coincidence, I guess, or not coincidence, a cool observation. Okay. This is a very cool one. So I'll read it out. So, very reassuring that by taking action on making these videos, I'm continuously improving. This time around, my experience from writing timestamps has influenced how I write the script for this video. This will totally make it easier for me when I go to edit and write the description, I think. Yeah, totally. I think that's just a testament again to something I mentioned in a previous video, which is like not feeling like you have to be perfect and preventing that having that perfection mindset prevent you from taking actions. I fully expected to dive into this YouTube thing, learning a ton. Same thing when I cook new recipes or whatever. Like I know I'm gonna fuck up. I know it's not gonna go as planned. I'm planning for the worst. But this is just, again, reassurance to me. Super proud of myself that I'm adjusting and continuing to like think about how I can do things better, more efficiently. This time I wrote out this whole script, and it's organized my thoughts. It inspired talking points, and hopefully the end result is I get to make more videos with more information. And it's easier for me to write the timestamps now because I've organized all this in such a way where it's basically done now. The script is the timestamps almost, like, so yeah. I think this is just a pat on the back kind of, but also just reassuring that I'm continuing to learn and improve. So yeah, I think that's all I got there. I'll move on to the next point. Okay. This is a good retro item here. So this is a good lesson I learned. Good, nice try, buddy, but you kind of fucked up. Okay. So I think since I don't know when this was. Like I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I made this video like I've been living in the moment a lot more. I've been living in the moment. I'm not thinking too far ahead. That was great, but I think I went a little too heavy on the living in the moment part to the point where it was a little detrimental, and I kind of fucked up, and I missed 2 of my credit card payments because I didn't have the structure, and I was living too in the moment to the point where I forgot to like go into my account and make the payment, and that has never ever happened to me before in like my, I don't know how long I've had this credit card, in my fucking 20 plus years of having this credit card, or no, sorry, what am I talking about? In my like 10 years of having these credit cards, I've never once missed a payment. And so that was like a big deal where I was like, ooh, fuck, that was really bad. And I pay off my credit cards in full every statement. But yeah, this time I was living too in the moment. I forgot the ritual of like going through and making my payments and stuff. Luckily, I didn't miss like my other bills or whatever, but yeah, it was my credit card payments. And the funniest little coincidence that happened with that too, though. The funniest fucking coincidence, dude. So I don't know. Maybe it's a sign from the universe. I think my mom really is rubbing off on me. I'm starting to become more spiritual. But like, tell me about this, okay? Or tell me if you think this is a coincidence. Like, I forgot to pay 2 of those credit cards, and so they charged me $25 each as like a late fee because I fucked up. But I paid it. Actually, this is kind of a funny story. I fucked up, and I realized that I missed the payment at midnight. Bro, I literally logged in, and I was like, oh shit, I have a payment. It struck midnight, and I was like, bruh, I literally missed it by minutes because if I would have just logged into the app earlier, I would have paid him off in time. But anyways, so tell me this isn't weird, or fucking tell me if you think this is an odd coincidence, right? So I got the $50 ding because it was like $25. The 2 credit cards charged me a $25 late fee. The funniest thing though, a couple weeks ago, my friend was getting a new credit card, and I gave her a referral code, and that referral code was, so basically if she signs up for the credit card or whatever, I gave her my referral link, and so I'll get $150 if she signs up for it, and I split it with her. So she signed up for the credit card. But get this. So the credit was 150. I sent her 75. So that means I had 75 left over. But then the 2 late fees came in, so like $50 off. But that freaking referral bonus covered my mistake. Isn't that funny? Isn't that fucking funny? What a coincidence, right? And it's just like, it gave me, I still got $25 out of it, but it's just funny because I was like, damn, what the fuck? Like, what a random thing for that to happen. I don't know. It's just kind of funny. I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting observation. But I was kind to myself. I was kind of sad about it for a few hours because I was like, man, I've never missed a payment in my life before. But I don't think it's too bad. I hope it doesn't take my score. I don't know how this shit works, dude. Honestly, I've always paid on time, so I don't know how it's going to affect my score. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll recover, worst case. But isn't that just funny? Funny coincidence. But yeah, anyways. Okay, so that was a lesson I learned. Okay, next point. This isn't really a lesson. It's more of just like something I've mentioned before, but I just want to like reaffirm, continue doing this. Very good. Probably a short talking point. I said saving folding my laundry until my mom is available to talk on the phone works perfectly. Yep. So true. Kind of bad though, because when I don't talk with her on the phone, my laundry sits in a hamper, but that's okay. I mean, it's not a big deal, but inevitably she'll call and then we'll talk for like a couple hours. And in that time, I'll be multitasking. I'll have a conversation with my mom and I'll feel productive because I get to like fold my laundry, right? Because if I think about it, like what are the other value adds that I'm getting from folding laundry otherwise, right? It's like, okay, I can listen to a podcast or whatever, but it's like, I can do that while cooking too, I think folding laundry is the perfect task because it happens regularly and I don't have to think that hard about it, right? Because if I'm meal prepping or cleaning or something, I'm having to like put more thought into it. So I don't want to like, be productive like while talking on the phone with my mom because that feels a little disrespectful because I'm not like focused on the conversation. So anyways, just wanted to throw that point out there. I think continue saving your laundry till when mom calls you and fold your laundry while talking to mom because it's a perfect time. It's just a perfect activity. No pressure to think too hard about anything. So anyways, yeah, just keep doing that. It's good. Makes her happy too. That way, you're reserving time. You don't feel guilty talking with her for hours and hours because it's like you're doing something productive. So anyways, yeah, keep doing that, bro. All right. This is a very funny one. So investing in a meat slicer and making gyudon literally hit, bro. It hit. Fuck. So I bought this meat slicer from this guy at work. His roommate bought it, and for some fucking reason, they never used it. It just sat in their room or their house for like a couple weeks or whatever, and he wanted to get rid of it. And so he gave it to me for like $150, and I think this was like a $375 meat slicer, and he just gave it to... Actually, no. I think he gave it to me for $100 or something. Some super cheap price. I was like, fuck, dude, I'd be dumb not to get it. So it's like this giant, like, literally like commercial meat slicer, but it's super fucking heavy, but oh my god. And so I was like kind of toiling, like cleaning it, learning how to use it, like setting it up. Oh my god, the mess it made after was like so funny. Like the meat splattered everywhere, and like I totally mentally prepared for those. Just kind of funny, but oh my god, the final result. It was so good, dude. So fucking good. Oh my, like literally legit made all of the work and effort and pain and cleanup worth it because I made gyudon. Oh my god, this was like exactly what I've been craving like from Japan, dude. Fucking Yoshinoya in Japan. They just cut the brisket so thin and they get it so like it's the perfect mouthfeel. I recreated it at home. Oh my, I was so happy, bro. So fucking happy. Cuz like I've done it, I've done it before and like I cut it by hand and it's just too thick. It doesn't get the same texture, doesn't get the same chew. Like, oh my, this one fucking hit, bro. And also maybe it was partially because I bought like American Wagyu. But anyway, that's another point. I'm jumping ahead of myself. But yeah, let me stick on this point. But oh my god, so I mentioned this is the taste I've been going for this whole time ever since I started cooking Wagyu. Let's see. Oh, kind of touched on this already too, but I said, I'm really proud of myself that when I learn something new, I feel like I have realistic expectations. I don't feel pressured to do everything perfect. I know I'll make mistakes and learn, and I consciously block off a lot of time so I don't feel stressed about doing it. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. It's been the case for like learning the meat slicer, cooking new recipe, honestly cooking in general. I think all of these 3 points apply to all of those. I don't feel pressure to do it perfect. I know I'm gonna fuck up. I know it's gonna be, and I didn't write this point down, but I'm just kind of like analyzing now off the cuff. I feel like I always like expect that there's gonna be challenges I didn't think of, because you can't, I don't know, like you can't prepare for everything. I mean, you can as much as you want try to prepare, but it's like I'm just gonna figure out one way or the other. So I don't like expect it to go easy. Basically, is what I'm saying. I set my expectations right off the bat. I expect it to be difficult, basically, and with that, I feel resilient, because when things inevitably go wrong, I'm like, oh, I knew this was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna be fucking harder than I thought. So, yeah, very very helpful. Um, and yeah, just blocking off the time, it really feels like the point I made in the last video about playing guitar, just making the time, setting up space to just let the activity take as long as it'll take. And fuck, dude, I think this was a point in 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Berkman too. He basically said in the old world, right, before clocks existed or whatever, it like activities just took as long as they took. It wasn't like, oh, I can do this in an hour. It was like, and their measurement of time was like however long it takes to, like, I don't know, like fucking cut the wheat or whatever. I don't know, whatever they said, right? But it's so helpful to think that way, because I'm not feeling pressured or stressed about it. Not to say like I'm dilly-dallying and like taking my sweet ass time, but I'm not stressing myself that, oh my god, it's taking too long. Like, I've set aside the time for it. Like, I know, okay, I'm gonna block off the rest of the afternoon. It'll take as long as it takes. If I get done in 3 hours, great. If I get done in 7 hours, like, okay, so be it. So I think just having the expectation right from the get-go is like super helpful. But anyways, okay. And this kind of also gave me another lesson, which is if you invest your money in the right ways, it can really fucking pay off and enrich your life. Like, oh my god, dude. Like, this gyudon, I'm telling you, bro, like, okay, look, I'm a low-key Japan glazer. I know I am. But like, the gyudon in Japan is so good. And I feel like you can't get it easily here. Like, you have to go to a fancy Japanese restaurant or whatever, and like, or it's like you go to Kura or whatever, but it's like you can get it from the supermarket, but it's just not the same. It's not exactly what I want. I'm settling. I'm having to get something that will sort of remind me of it, but like, when I make it at home, I can do exactly what I want. I can put as much onions as I want. I can cook the meat as well or as less as I want. Like, I can put the toppings on. I have full control over it. That's the best feeling, dude. To recreate exactly what you want feels so fucking good. And I'm so glad I invested in this meat slicer, because again, it just went to show, like, if you invest your money in the right ways, it enriches the fuck out of your life, dude. Like, this is what money is for. Money is for moments like this, to recreate that gyudon that I've been craving so dearly ever since coming back from Japan, dude. It's like, these are the things that, like, you can maximize your life with using money. Like, anyways, it's not material shit. Like, it's about the experience you want and getting, what you want. Anyways, yeah. Okay, last 2 points. Okay, holy shit, I'm almost at an hour. This is insane. Okay, last 2 points. Let's see here. Oh, okay, I think it's kind of repeating what I just mentioned, but I'll read it out. This says, sometimes spending your money to get exactly what you want is wise. I.e., this time I bought American Wagyu. Oh, okay, yeah. This time I bought American Wagyu for $6 a pound. Last time I tried to go cheap and I bought normal brisket from Costco, and it was mostly inedible fat, and the meat was super tough and not enjoyable. Yeah, that's so true, dude. That's so true. And I was left with that fucking brisket. I had to eat it for weeks, and I was like, oh my god, dude, this is such a grind to eat this. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta, like, if you, okay, look, I know this sounds very fucking privileged. I'm talking to myself, so apologies. I don't mean to offend anybody. But if you can afford it, sometimes spending money to just get exactly what you want is worth it. Like, I was trying to go cheap, like in my example, right? Last time I was like, okay, I'll just get the normal brisket. It's like $3 a pound or $3.80 whatever a pound. It's like such a good deal. And this time I was like, fuck that. Nope. I got the meat slicer. I'm not going to half-ass the meat this time, because last time the meat was terrible. So I was like, all right, buy the fucking American Wagyu brisket first. And honestly, $6 a pound is pretty fucking cheap, honestly. Like, compared to, I don't know what the fuck I was paying before. When I was buying shabu shabu meat from H Mart, it's like fucking $18.99 a pound, $16.99 a pound. It's fucking crazy. So whatever I paid before, I'm getting way more value anyways. So it's not even like I'm being super crazy throwing my money around here. This is just like in certain cases, it makes sense to pay more, bro. Just be cognizant of that. I think that's the key. Like, don't be super cheap, like, in every aspect. Certain aspects are okay to be cheap in, and others, it's like, don't cheap out, bro. So anyways, that was just the point of this one here. All right. And last but not least, I'm very happy to close on this one because this brings me good vibes. I'll read it out for you. So it says, hanging out with the right people feels effortless and fun. I really have to reevaluate now when I hang out with someone. I really have to reevaluate now after hanging out with someone how I feel. I really have to reevaluate how I feel after hanging out with someone, I think is what I was trying to say. And yeah, so let me kind of talk through that point a little more. Basically, I have been hanging out with these two friends in particular recently. I'll say their code names Mochi-kun. I've been hanging out with Mochi-kun a lot and Mochi-kun's girlfriend, and they're fucking awesome, dude. They're so fucking awesome, and they're so like when we hang out, it just we click like that. It feels effortless. We were just on the same page, like their sense, oh my god, Mochikun's sense of humor is so fucking funny, dude. Like, bro, I legitimately laugh so hard. In terms of values, I think we vibe. In terms of comedy, sense of humor. In terms of interest, we overlap hella. Lots of similar interests: anime, Japanese culture in general, speaking Japanese. Fucking cool. So anyways, it's just like he's really set the bar for my friendships is I guess the takeaway from that one. Like, hanging out with him feels so effortless and fun and energizing. Like, if you're not at that level, I gotta start reconsidering, like, how much time do I want to spend with these other friends that aren't matching, Mochi-kun's I don't know, like, hangouts, I guess. But yeah, so super cool. And I'll read these other two sub bullets from that. It says, this should give me confidence to commit fully into the friendship and treat them as well as I can with no regrets. Yes, totally. Because I know this is a solid friendship. I know that we've been friends since college. I've known him since my 2014, maybe 10 years now. Fuck, time flies. But yeah, so I think this gives me confidence to really invest in the friendship, and I have been investing in the friendship. But it's just he's a great friend. So yeah, I think it. Just wanted to reflect on that. Brings good vibes. Awesome hanging out with him. And then final sub bullet. I think this is a funny one to end on because maybe it'll spark something in me to get more excited about dating or whatever. But anyways, so this last one is, I can practice treating my friends well as preparation to how I treat my future partner. Wow, how gushy, what a softie I am. But no, in all reality, in all honesty, I think it's really just the point I wanted to make there was, like, I should feel empowered to show my friends the same love that I would to, like, a partner. Okay, not in a fucking gross way, but like in like a, I'm thinking about them, I'm just gonna like text them or whatever, or like I see this thing that they like, I'm just gonna buy it for them. I'm not gonna ask if they want it or whatever. I'm not gonna think about the price. I'm like, oh, they would like this. I'm just gonna buy it for them, because he's been doing that for me. Like, he thinks about me. He'll go to like a Bandai Gachapon store and he'll be like, oh, Brandon would like this little keychain, and he got it for me and I fucking loved it. It was so kind of him. It was so thoughtful. And then he'll go to like a grocery store and be like, oh, there's like that mint that we got, the Mintia, those little Japanese mints that we got one time. He thought of me. He got me one. I was like, oh, that's so kind of you. So yeah, he's a great friend, man. He's a great friend. I really appreciate him a lot. And I'm super glad that we've gotten closer. And we're actually going to Japan together next year. So super cool. But yeah, I'm super stoked, and really love him as a friend. He's a great guy, and gives me hope in humanity, and in friendships that there are people out there, man. There are people out there that you can vibe with, being your whole self. And yeah, I can practice treating, or I don't want to say practice. I can flex that muscle of like showing love to friends, so that, maybe I'll get so good at it. Like when I have a partner, I'll be on my A game. I'll be able to treat her well. I'll be able to do things for her that she'll really appreciate because I've had the practice doing right by my friends. So anyways, all right, I think I'm getting sleepy now too. I'm fucking fading. My eyes are closing. I'm getting tired. I've been talking for almost an hour. That's crazy. You know what? Maybe I'll talk for a little bit more just because I want to hit that hour mark just for fun. I'm at 59:33 right now. Okay. Gosh, what else is there to talk about, man? Fuck. Okay, let me end it on a bonus. Maybe just talk about the dating update. Okay, so I've been on the apps. I've been swiping like a madman, and I have gotten one match. And the girl, like, okay, actually, it's a funny story. The first day I got the apps back, I downloaded it. I swiped on this girl. I got a match the first day. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. That was really fast. A couple messages were exchanged, and then she ghosted me, and I'm like, great start. So, yeah. But at this moment, just haven't been as active on it because I'm like, I'm kind of preparing for my Japan trip right now, and I'm hanging out with Mochi-kun a lot more. So, anyways, yeah. So, keep you posted next time about the dating apps. We'll see how things go. But, I hit the hour mark, baby. Let's go. Okay. So, wow, that was the longest video I've had. New record. So, gosh, good job, me. You did it. You did it. This was what weeks of not making videos has done. You've had so much material to talk through. This fucking video took an hour. Yeah, maybe I should spread it out next time. But anyways, yeah, hope you enjoyed this, future me. Hope you have a great night. Hope you have a great morning. Hope you have a great day, whatever you're doing. Wherever you are out there in the world, love you, appreciate you, be grateful. Thank you so much. I love the universe. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Have a great day. Goodbye.